Hello students, welcome to the new lecture, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about the revision. Okay, the revision of the chapter 3. Okay, till now we have discussed about whole chapter, and now we are going to discuss about the revision. And after the revision, it means we are going to complete the two topics. It means we are going to complete the revision in two lectures, and it's the revision 1 lecture, and after this there will be a revision 2 lecture, and after that there will be a test. And if you are interested, you can attend the test, and it's a small MCQ test consisting of 20 questions and 20 marks, and the marks will be displayed. Only you can see your marks, no other people can see your marks, and you can check your knowledge. Okay, now let us start about our discussion. The first is the introduction. So what is the need of the transportation? The transportation means the supply of nutrients, gases, liquids to the body parts. Okay, for example, if you eat the food material, the food will be in the intestine. Okay, after the digestion, the food materials has to be, or the nutrients has to be passed to the hand, leg, and also brain, etc. So in that case, the transportation is necessary in human beings to transport all these components. Okay, so this is the main important part in the transportation. So if you take the amoeba, okay, do amoeba have this transportation system? No, amoeba do not have the separate circulatory system, but there is a simple mechanism known as diffusion in the amoeba. Okay, the diffusion is going to occur. It means the oxygen gas is going to come over here, and the oxygen will enter into the body, and the carbon dioxide is going to move out of the body. Okay, this is a simple diffusion. Now in the same way, the food materials also going to occur. It means the food material will be taken with the help of the pseudopodia that you can see here. Okay, the food will be taken into the amoeba cell by a process known as not the phagocytosis, by a process known as ingestion and formation of the pseudopodia. Okay, and osmosis, etc. In these lower organisms, we can see the diffusion, osmosis, and so on. These are the simple process that you can see in lower organisms or unicellular organisms. Okay, in higher organisms, if you take the human being or buffalo or sheep, such kind of process like diffusion, osmosis will not work. Okay, why? Because here it is the only one cell. In human being there are trillions of the cells. The trillions of the cells are there. So to supply the nutrients or gases to the trillions of cells by the diffusion, it is highly impossible. So this is only the reason our body, like human body and some animals bodies, have the separate system known as transportation system. Okay, so there is separate specialized system. That system is known as circulatory system. With the help of the circulatory system, the body can transport nutrients, gases, minerals, etc. Okay, so the circulatory system is, there should be an organ which pumps the nutrients, or there should be an organ to pump the all nutrients, and in the form of dissolved states, and also gases in the form of dissolved state. That is known as heart. Okay, heart is an organ. It is going to pump the all the nutrients in the form of dissolved state in the blood, and through the blood vessels the nutrients will be pumped by the heart. Okay, so this is about it. And in the activity 1, we are going to see about the pulse. So what is meant by pulse and so on. So if you hold your wrist, here, if you keep in this way, there will be some rhythmic pushing up and down. Okay, the blood vessel will be there. It will be pushing up and down. So this blood vessel will push the pushed in the wrist up and down is a rhythmical way, so that the rhythmical throbbing of the arteries in the wrist, that is known as pulse. Okay, so you can count by keeping your finger on the wrist. Okay, so keep your finger on the wrist and observe the careful rhythmical throbbing of the artery. It is up and down throbbing, so that you can count the rate of the pulse. Okay, and note down that the rate of pulse, okay, the rate of pulse is equal to the heartbeat. Okay, how many times the heart beats, that much will be the equal to pulse rate. Okay, if the heartbeat is 72 times per minute, the pulse rate will be 72 times per minute. Hence you can say that rate of pulse is equal to the rate of heartbeat. Okay, so you can observe the heartbeat or the pulse rate with your friends also. Okay, you can check the rate of pulse in your friends also. Okay, so these are the questions. I hope you have noted these questions in the previous lectures, and I think there is no need of discussing in detail. So these are the questions just given in the textbook, and the answers is provided here. And here is the activity 2. This is the matchstick stethoscope. It means with the help of a simple matchstick and small rubber cap, we can make our own stethoscope. Okay, so the pulse rate is not constant. Why the pulse rate is not constant? While you are playing, okay, while you are playing or jogging and so on, so there is a increase in the heartbeat. Why the heartbeat increases during the playing, jogging, running, etc.? Why? Because your body needs more oxygen and nutrients, so that there should be more flow of oxygen and also nutrients to the tissue. As a result, the heartbeat should be faster. If the heartbeat is faster, as a result, the more nutrients and gas will be pumped, and this is the reason we can see that the heartbeat is faster in the during the exercise conditions. What happens if the heartbeat increases? The pulse rate is also increases. Just now we have seen, if the heartbeat increases, the pulse rate is increases, or we can say that rate of pulse is equal to the heartbeat. Okay, so this is another reason. And the pulse rate and heartbeat is related. How they are related? So why? Because there is a direct connection, so that the blood will be pumped from the heart to the blood vessels, and these blood vessels are present in the wrist, so that we are going to check the rate of pulse in the wrist. So it is related. So hence in this activity we can take the shirt button, okay, or we can take the old rubber cap also, which will come in the medicine bottles, okay, in the medicine bottles that you see in the hospitals. So let us consider this is the bottle, and inside on the top of the bottle there will be small rubber cap. You can say take this rubber cap also. If you don't find such kind of rubber caps, you can take the shirt button and insert a matchstick onto the one of the holes of the shirt button, okay, and keep this matchstick along with shirt button on your wrist. So this matchstick will move according to the pulse, okay. If the pulse moves, or if the rhythmical movement is coordinated with the movement of the matchstick, okay. By this way we can say that there is a pulse that is occurring in the wrist, okay. And next is their pulse rate or heartbeat is different in different human beings. For example, if you see the newborn individuals, okay, their age may be 0 to 3 months, okay, their heartbeat is so high, it is around 100 to 150 times per minute. Why? Because these individuals will have the more metabolic rate. If the metabolic rate is more, the heartbeat should be more. So this is one of the reason they have such kind of huge or high heartbeat. So next is the infants. Infants means the individuals are the children belonging to the 3 months to 6 months and so on, okay, or 3 years to 6 years. So they have around 90 to 120, and next is 6 to 12 years, they have around 80 to 120 and so on. If you go on seeing here, the heart rate is increasing and so on. So if you after some certain age, around 60 to 100 years, okay, so the heart, not years, this is 60% or 60 heartbeat, and 100 heartbeats will be seen in the children above the 10 years. And adults means what? Adults means they may have the age around 18 to 24 or 30 and so on. In between this age, their heartbeat will be around 60 times to 100 times per minute, okay. And well trained athletes means the people who are involving in the sports, their heartbeat will be around 40 to 60 times per minute, okay. So next, before the discovery of stethoscope, what is stethoscope? Stethoscope is nothing but a small device. It looks in this way, okay. It will be present, it will be used by the doctor, so that they are going to listen the heartbeat of the patients. This instrument name is known as stethoscope. It can be used to hear the heartbeat of the patients, or how well the heartbeat is there. So this will be used to hear the heartbeat. So before the stethoscope was discovered, the people used to hear the heartbeat, especially doctors. Doctors used to hear the heartbeat by placing their ears on the chest of the patients, okay. So after that, René Laennec is the first doctor. He used the paper tube. So instead of hearing directly from the chest of the patient, he used the paper tube, and he listened the heartbeat with the help of the paper tube. Later he used the bamboo stick. So bamboo stick was used to hear the heartbeat, and this is the first discovery of the stethoscope to hear the heartbeat, okay. So next is the activity 3, that is a heartbeat and also pulse rate. So make a paper tube and 10-inch long. It means we are going to make the same experiment which is done by the René Laennec, okay. So to repeat that experiment, you have to take the paper tube, so 10-inch long, so the 10-inch long, and also 1 inch diameter, 1 inch diameter. So as a result, we can make a structure that is looking similar to the bamboo stick which was used by the Linnaeus. Okay, so next, place this bamboo stick on the chest of your friend and listen the heartbeat carefully. So we can listen some kind of sound which is coming from the heart, and we can note down the heartbeat. Okay, so where the heart is located? The heart is located between the lungs. Okay, between the lungs. Okay, so the heart is located. So the heart is located over here, and this heart is protected by the rib cage. Okay, you can see that rib cage. So the rib cage is present. You can clearly see the rib cage. Okay, by checking with your fingers on your chest, you can see bones that you can feel. Okay, so the size of the heart is approximately size of one's own fist. Okay, so fist is nothing but if you close your hand in this way. Okay, if you close your hand in this way, how much the size of your fist is? The same the size of your heart. Okay, and these are the questions that is asked in the textbook, and these are the answers for those questions. So next is the lab activity 2. So in this, we have to observe the internal structure of the heart, how the internal structure of the heart is looking like, that we are going to discuss over here. So the first is the aim. So what you want to do, you want to observe the internal structure of the heart, how the structure of the heart is inside, that is known as internal structure of the heart. And a mammalian heart, we have used the word mammalian heart. What is mammalian heart? The heart which is present in the mammals. Then who are the mammals? We human beings are the mammals, goat, sheep, etc. These all are the mammals. We all have the mammary glands. So if we have the mammary glands, then we comes under the mammals. And what about birds? Are they belong to the mammals? No, they are not included under the mammals. Why? Because they do not have the mammary glands. The mammary glands are not present in the birds and crocodiles and so on, and in the snakes and so on. So they do not come under the mammals. So we are going to observe the heart in the mammals only. So what we need materials like heart of the sheep. It means almost see the sheep of the heart. The sheep heart is similar to the human being's heart. So as a result, we are going to take the heart of the sheep or goat. Next, we have to take the soda straws that you use to drink juices or some kind of soda. And next, the large blade or scalpel, water, scissors, and forceps. Okay, so first we have to bring the heart from the butcher shop. Okay, or you can call it a mutton shop. So then we have to drain the heart completely, so that, and also wash the heart with water, so that all the blood will be drained out. The heart looks cleaner. Okay, so then we have to insert the soda straws inside the stumps. What is meant by stump? Stump is nothing but a blood vessel. Okay, the cut blood vessel of the heart is known as a stump. We have to insert the straws. Why we have to insert? So that to see where the blood vessel is ending, in which chamber the blood vessel is ending. So to show that, or to see that, we have to insert the soda straws into the stumps. Okay, we will discuss these stumps after a moment, or we will discuss these chambers after a moment. So next, observe the arrangement of coronary vessels on the walls of the heart. What is meant by coronary vessels? The term coronary refers to the heart, or cardiac refers to the heart. So here the coronary means it is relating to the heart. Vessels means these are the blood vessels. Hence we can summarize that the coronary vessels are the vessels that supply blood to the heart is known as coronary vessels, or the blood vessels on the heart is known as coronary vessels. Okay, so here you can see the internal structure of the heart. First we will see the coronary vessels. So can you see here the blood vessels which is appearing on the heart? Okay, these blood vessels are known as coronary vessels. Okay, clearly we can see on the heart. So next is internal structure of the heart, how the heart is looking inside. The heart is pear shaped and it is with roughly triangular in shape. Here you can see the heart is pear shaped. Pear is nothing but a kind of a fruit. It is looking like a pear fruit, and also it is roughly triangular. So can you see here, it is roughly looking like a triangular in shape, and it is wider. So on this side it is wider. Okay, and on this side it is narrow. So the wider on the top and narrowed at the bottom. Okay, so here the heart is externally divided into grooves into 4 chambers. Upper 2 chambers are known as atria, and lower two chambers are known as ventricles. So this is the this is one chamber, this is another second chamber, third, and also four chambers are present. These are known as atria and also ventricles. How many atria are there? Two atria and also two ventricles are there. Okay, so the coronary vessels are the blood vessels that supply blood to the walls of the heart. Just now we have discussed about it. So the walls of the ventricles are thicker than the walls of the auricles. So what is meant by ventricle? What is meant by auricle? So here you can see the first two chambers, the upper two chambers are known as auricles. These auricles walls, the walls of these auricles are narrow. Okay, they are not stronger. And while the walls of the ventricles are stronger, so that to withstand the pressure which is exerted by the ventricles, they are stronger. Okay. So next, the size of the atrium and ventricles, left atrium and also left ventricles are smaller. So here you can see these are the left atrium and also left ventricle. Okay, left ventricle and also left atrium. So these two chambers are smaller when compared to the right atrium and also right ventricle. Okay, so next, there are three types of the blood vessels. In the textbook it is given as a two types of the blood vessels, but the two types of blood vessels are not correct. So make sure that you have corrected that typing mistake. And here in the body there are three types of the blood vessels, not two types. Three types of the blood vessels are there. What are those three types of the blood vessels? First one is the arteries, second is the blood capillary, third one is the vein. Okay, here you can see this is the artery. So this is the vein, and in between the arteries and veins there is a joining. That joinings are known as capillaries, or you can call it as a blood capillaries. Okay, so the arteries will divide into arterioles. Here will be the arterioles, and arterioles will form into a fine hair-like structures. These fine hair-like structures are known as blood capillaries. And again, these blood capillaries will join to form a branches that is known as venules. Okay, they will form a venules, and these venules will turn into a main blood vessel that is known as vein. Okay, hence we can say that there are three types of the blood vessels: artery, blood capillaries, and veins. Okay. So here the arteries, the blood vessels that originate from the heart is known as artery. Okay, here there is a heart, and heart will give rest a major blood vessel that is known as aorta. This aorta will divide into many blood vessels, and this is one of the blood vessels. Okay, that is artery. Okay. So the arteries have the thicker blood vessels. Why the arteries are the thicker blood vessels? Why? Because they have to withstand the pressure. Okay, huge amount of the blood pressure is coming from the heart. So to withstand the huge blood pressure from the heart, the arteries walls should be thicker. Okay, what happens if the arteries walls are not thicker? They burst. Okay, they burst due to the pressure exerted by the heart. So this is one of the reason the walls of the arteries should be thicker and stronger, and they should be elastic. Okay, and here you can see the aorta is the largest artery that is coming from the heart. Okay, here you can see, can you see the aortic wall? This is the artery. So or you can call it as a systemic aorta. The systemic aorta is coming from the left ventricle. Okay, from the left ventricle the systemic aorta is coming out, and the systemic aorta will divide into many blood vessels. These blood vessels are known as arteries. Okay, so these arteries are thicker, their walls are thicker, and they are elastic, and they are stronger, so that to withstand the pressure which is exerted by the left ventricle. Okay, and the pulmonary aorta. Okay, the pulmonary aorta, it is also a major blood vessel that is originating from the left ventricle. Just now we have discussed about the we have to discuss about this pulmonary aorta. So pulmonary aorta is nothing but the major blood vessel that is originating from the right ventricle. So here you can see the right ventricle. So from this right ventricle the pulmonary artery is going to come out. Can you see here? So from here the pulmonary artery is going to come out, and the blood will be supplied to the right and left lungs. Okay, the pulmonary, the word pulmonary refers to the lungs, and aorta means it is a artery. Okay, so the pulmonary aorta means it is a blood vessel, major blood vessel that will carry deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. Okay, So next here you can see, so this is the right atrium and this is the right ventricle, and in the right ventricle there you can see that first of all you have to remember the right atrium and also right ventricle both are involved in the transportation of the deoxygenated blood, and we have differentiated here. So these two chambers are differentiated in the blue color. The blue color refers to the deoxygenated blood. Okay, how the deoxygenated blood is entering into these chambers? From here, the inferior vena cava and also superior vena cava, bringing the deoxygenated blood from the heart, deoxygenated blood from the body, and the blood will be dumped into the right atrium, and from the right atrium blood will be pumped into the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle the blood will be pumped to the lungs, right lung and also left lung. Okay, so this is known as pulmonary aorta or pulmonary artery. Next is systemic aorta. Here you can see from the left ventricle, here you can see there is a pumping of oxygenated blood through this blood vessel, that is known as systemic aorta or aorta. So this aorta is going to carry the blood. Which blood? Oxygenated blood. Just now we have seen the blood is pumped to the right and left lung. Okay, the right and left lung. So again the blood is the oxygenated blood from the lungs. Here will be the lungs. Okay, let us know this is the lung. From the lungs the blood is received to the heart. Okay, through pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins will carry oxygenated blood from the lungs, and oxygenated blood will be filled over here in the left atrium. From the left atrium blood will move into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle the oxygenated blood will be pumped to the systemic aorta. From the systemic aorta to the blood to the body parts. Through which blood vessels? Through arteries. Okay, the aorta will divide into many blood vessels. Those many blood vessels are known as arteries. Okay, again these arteries will turn into veins, and these veins will carry deoxygenated blood to the heart, into the systemic or into the inferior vena cava and also superior vena cava. Okay, and next is the blood capillaries. The blood capillaries are the tiny hair-like structure. They are the smallest blood vessels and 1 cell in thickness that helps in the exchanging of the nutrients, waste and gases. Okay, so next, veins. Just now we have seen the blood vessels. The blood capillaries will turn into venules, and these venules will join to form veins. Okay, so and collects the blood from the body parts and brings the deoxygenated blood to the heart. Okay, so and also we can see that the veins are thin blood vessels. Why the veins have the thin blood vessels? Why? Because the veins do not have to withstand the higher pressure. There is no pressure or higher pressure in the veins, so as a result their blood vessels their walls will be less. Okay, or less thickness. So next, the precaval vein. It is also superior vena cava. You can see here there is a superior vena cava, and also here is the inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava is also known as precaval veins, and the inferior vena cava is also known as postcaval vein. So this is precaval vein and postcaval veins. Both are going to bring blood to the which chamber? Right atrium. And the main difference between these two is the precaval vein is going to bring blood from the upper body parts, okay, like head, ears, nose, etc. And postcaval vein is going to bring blood from the lower body parts which are below the heart, like hands, legs and so on. Okay, and next, both are superior and inferior vena cava opens into right atrium, and this septum is there between the chambers. So what is there? What is the septum? Can you see here? This is the one septum, and here is the another septum. So these septums are nothing but they are muscular in nature, and they are going to divide the chambers. Okay, so the septum separates the two atria and also two ventricles with each other. So, and we have to note that there is a wall. Can you see here? There is a wall. So the walls are present in the septum. It means these walls are present between the atria and also ventricles. Then we can call these walls as auriculoventricular septum. Auriculoventricular walls means the walls which is present in the auriculoventricular septum. Okay, auriculoventricular septum is going to differentiate atria and also ventricles. And if the valves are present in the septum, that is known as auriculoventricular valves. Okay. And what are those valves? There are two types of the valves, that is a tricuspid valve and also bicuspid valves in the septum. Okay, so tricuspid valve that you can see here, so the tricuspid look like a cusp, okay, or flap like structure. How many are there? So three. Tri means three. Here you can see the three flap like structures. These are known as tricuspid valves. Where the tricuspid valve is present, here you can see there is a tricuspid valve over here between the right atrium and also right ventricle. And what about left atrium and left ventricle? So there is a bicuspid valve. Here you can see there is a bicuspid. Only two flaps are present over here, or two flap-like structures in these valves. So this bicuspid valve is present in the left atrium and also left ventricle. And also not only here, there is a valve. Two valves are present in the systemic aorta. If the valve is present in the systemic aorta, that is known as aortic valve. If the valve is present in the pulmonary artery, that is known as pulmonary valve. Okay, so here you can see here you can see the bicuspid valve, and here is the pulmonary valve, and here is the here you can see here is the aortic valve. Okay, aortic valve. These are the valves present over here. Okay, the pulmonary valve, it is the valve present in the region of the pulmonary artery, while systemic valve, it is a valve present in the region of the systemic aorta. Okay, here is the systemic valve. So next is the left atrium. It is as the opening of the pulmonary valves that receives oxygenated blood from the lungs. Okay, so right ventricle, it has a pulmonary aorta that supplies deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Okay, so here you can see this is the right atrium. Right atrium, it receives deoxygenated blood from the superior and also inferior vena cava, and this blood will be pumped into the ventricle. Which ventricle? Right ventricle. So when the right ventricle is filled, what will happen? This deoxygenated blood will be supplied to the lungs. Okay, left and also right lungs. Okay, as a result, the blood is sent for the oxygenation, and as a result, again, this will be carrying the oxygenated blood to the which chamber? This is the left atrium. Left atrium is going to receive oxygenated blood from the both lungs, and when the left atrium is filled with the lungs, when the left atrium is filled with blood, and the blood will be pumped to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle the blood will be pumped to all body parts. Okay, this is the procedure, and we have to note down here when the blood will be pumped and when the blood will be filled. So when these chambers are relaxed, they are going to fill with blood. Okay, when these chambers are contracted, they are going to pump to the next chamber. Okay, again, when it is relaxing, it is going to fill. When relaxing, it is going to fill. When they are contracting, they are going to pump. Okay, pump to the next stage. Okay, so remember the left side, remember the right side of the chambers of the heart are always involved in the deoxygenated blood, and the left side of the chambers of the heart are always involved in the oxygenated blood transportation. Okay, and next is the blood vessels and also the circulation. So the first the function of the blood vessels was not known until 16th century. Till 16th century, the people did not know about the blood vessels. Here there is one scientist, that is Fabrici. The Fabrici, in the year 1574, he studied about the functioning of the veins in the legs, and he found that there is a walls in the legs. Okay, walls in the veins of the legs. Let us consider this is the vein. Okay, and this vein is present in the legs, and not only in the legs, it is present in the abdomen, it is in the hands, and everywhere. Wherever there is a vein, there are walls. So let us consider this the vein. Okay, the veins have the walls. These two flaps are known as walls. So the walls which is present in the vein is going to help in the flow of direction. So the blood will flow in this direction only, from the down to the up. Okay, from the leg to the heart. Okay, and if the blood is flowing, trying to flow in the opposite direction, these walls are going to close. When these walls are closed, the blood cannot flow in the opposite direction. So what you can understand from this, the blood will be allowed to flow from the down towards the heart, okay, or you can call it as from the body parts to the heart only, okay, not from the heart to the body parts, not from the heart to body parts. So why? Because there are walls in the veins, okay. These walls prevent the backflow of blood in the veins, and hence the blood in the veins pushed against the gravity. So next, these blood will be pumped in the blood vessels when the contraction of the muscles, when you are walking, when you are sitting, and so on. There will be some amount of pressure is applied by your muscles on these veins. So as a result, the blood will be pumped from this direction towards the heart, okay. So next, Fabrici did not pay attention and how the blood is moving from the left ventricles. In those days, the people were thinking about the movement of blood from the left ventricle of the heart, but the scientist Fabrici did not pay attention on the movement of blood from the left ventricles. So next, after some time, so as the years passed, he forgot his own discovery, okay. So next, after that, there is another scientist known as William Harvey. So he belongs to the year 1578 to 1657. He is an Englishman, okay. And after the completion of his doctorate degree, and he went to the Italy, okay. So he went to the Italy so that to pursue the higher education or to study the higher education. He went to the Italy and he became the student of the Fabrici, okay. So next, Harvey noticed the one-way walls between the atria and also ventricles. So here, remember one thing: the Fabrici discovered the walls in the veins, walls in the veins. But what his student did? His student, that is William Harvey, identified there is a walls between the atria and ventricles. Just now we have discussed about these ventricles, these walls. What is the walls? Auriculoventricular walls. It means the walls are present between the auricles and also ventricles. Where they are present? They are present in the muscular septum, okay. And while he was dissecting the heart of the dead people, he was doing these experiments in the heart of the dead people, and he found that when the heart contracted, no blood in the ventricles could flow back into the atrium. So the walls in the veins of the legs, which was discovered by the Fabrici, were one-way walls, and further, and they force the blood to move towards the heart only. Just now we have discussed from the body parts to the heart only, but not from the heart to body parts, okay. So there is only one-way direction due to the presence of walls, okay. So the Harvey experimented on the veins by blocking and tying with a thread. So what he did, this is the wall, okay. This is the walls of the veins. So what he did, so he blocked over here. When he blocked over here, so what will happen? So there will be bulging over here. The bulging will be seen, okay. As it is, what you can understand from here, so this is the body parts and this is the heart. The bulging will be seen over here just before the blocking. This indicates that the veins are carrying blood from the body parts to the heart, okay. Why? Because the bulging of the blood vessels is seen after the it means after the not after, before the blocking. So this is the blocking, you can see before the blocking, not after the blocking, not after, before the blocking. So if you see the bulging of the blood vessels before the blocking in the vein, before the blocking, if you see the blocking or here you can see on the simple direction, we can see in this way, okay. So here is the blood vessel. So we don't know it is the which blood vessel it is, whether it may be artery, vein, or blood capillary. So the William Harvey blocked the blood vessel over here. He wanted to know whether it is blood, whether it is artery or vein. So this here is the heart, here is the body parts. So after blocking, if you see the bulging here, if you see the bulging of the blood vessel over here, what does it indicate? The blood is trying to flow from the body parts to the heart. So if it is the condition over here, it indicates that it is the which blood vessel? It is the vein, okay. So for example, this is the heart and it's the blood vessel and it's the body parts, okay. So if you block over here, if the bulging is seen over here towards the heart and before the blocking, So what does it indicate? The blood is trying to flow from the heart to the body parts. Okay, it indicates that this is known as arteries. Okay, why? Because the bulging is seen before the blocking. So based on these experiments and observations by the Harvey, okay, so he found that the flow of blood in the arteries and veins. Okay, and next, the pulmonary circulation. It means the blood which leaves the right ventricle and right ventricle is moved to the lungs and returns to the left atrium. This is known as pulmonary circulation. Let us consider this is the heart has 4 chambers. So from this, what is this chamber? This is known as right ventricle. So from the right ventricle, the blood is moving to the lungs. Okay, so the blood is moving to the lungs, and again the blood from the lungs will be moved to the left atrium. Okay, so this is such kind of circulation is known as pulmonary circulation. Okay, so next, the systemic circulation. Again here we can see this is the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, the blood is moved towards the which blood vessel? That blood vessel is known as systemic aorta. Okay, from the systemic aorta, it will divide into many branches known as arteries. So these arteries will pump blood to the body parts. Okay, from the body parts, the veins are going to bring blood to the which chamber? This chamber. What is the chamber? Right atrium. From the right atrium to the right ventricle. From the right ventricle to the again lungs, and so on. It means there are 2 circulations. Okay, which is involving the lungs. It is known as pulmonary circulation. It is known as pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary refers to the lungs, and here you can see there is a supply of blood to the body parts. Okay, that is known as systemic circulation. Systemic means there are many systems in the body: respiratory system, excretory system, digestive system, and so on. So to all these systems, the blood will be supplied. Okay, that system is known as systemic circulation. Can you see the 2 circulations over here? This is the first circulation and this is the second circulation. Hence we can say human beings has a double circulation. Okay, so this is known as double circulation. Here the heart is receiving blood twice. Okay, one is from the pulmonary circulation, another is from the systemic circulation. So hence we can say that there is a double circulation. Okay, through the systemic cycle. So next, and the scientists in the 1650 arranged the lenses together and magnifying glasses to observe the smaller objects. So here they are interested to see and to observe the minute blood vessels, that is known as blood capillaries. Okay, so this is the artery. This artery will turn into smaller hair-like structures is known as blood capillaries. Again they will join to form a vein. Okay, between the blood capillaries and also arteries, there is a arterioles. Okay, there is arterioles. So between the blood capillaries and also veins, there is another blood vessels is known as venules. Okay, but we have to remember arteries, blood capillaries and also veins. Okay, so they are interested to study about these blood capillaries. So they have used a microscope. Okay, microscope by arranging the lenses. So in the year 1661, after the Harvey's death, so this Marcello Malpighi studied the blood capillaries in the wings of the bat. The bats has the wings. Okay, so they are not feathers. They are not made up of feathers. They are made up of the wings of the bat is made up of a patagium. So the patagium has the blood supply. So the arteries will turn into blood capillaries. Again, the blood capillaries will turn into veins. So this Marcello Malpighi observed these blood capillaries under the microscope, and he gave the name blood capillaries. In the Latin, the capillaries means hair. Okay, how the hair looks like? Hair looks like tiny. Okay, so in the same way the blood capillaries are also looking in that same way. Okay, and they are involving, these blood capillaries are involving in the exchanging of the nutrients, gases and so on. It means from the blood capillaries, the nutrients will move to the tissue. Okay, the nutrients will be given to the tissue and gases will be given to the tissue. Okay, and also waste materials will be taken from the tissues to the blood capillaries. The carbon dioxide will be taken from the tissue to the blood capillary and so on. So can you see there is exchanging between the blood capillaries and the tissues? Yes. So in that case, they are involving in the exchanging of the nutrients, gases, excretory waste, and so on. Okay. So here you can say that the blood circulation was complete with the discovery of the capillaries by the Malpighi. Okay. So before that, the people were so much confused about the arteries, veins, and how they are joined. But with the help of the discovery of the Malpighi, they came to know that there is a combination, there is a connection that is present between the arteries and veins. So hence these blood capillaries are completing the connection between the arteries and veins. Okay, now the people are clear with the about arteries and veins and how they are connected with blood capillaries and so on. So next, the demonstration of Harvey's experiment. Okay, and how the Harvey is identified the blood identified the blood vessels in the hand and so on. So to do that, you have to tie a tourniquet just above the elbow. Elbow means here. Okay, just above the elbow, you have to tie a thread-like thing. Okay, or you can call it as a small tie or so on. Okay, with the help, or you can do that same experiment with the help of rope also. Okay, tie a tourniquet and just above the elbow of the person whose blood vessels are prominent in the hand. Okay, so next is ask him to hold the fist with the help of a piece of cloth rolled in the hand, and as a result there will be pressure applied, and as a result the blood vessels can be seen more prominent, means the blood vessels are will be appeared more clearly. Okay, find the individuals, find the undivided blood vessels which we have to work for the next few minutes, and at the end of the vessels farther from the elbow, apply steady pressure so that closer to the cavity. As a result, they are going to become more prominent and you can see the blood vessels. Okay, if you apply the pressure palm slow from the elbow towards the palm slowly, you can observe the changes in the blood vessels and so on. So they will become more prominent and you can discuss about this appearance of the blood vessels among your friends and so on. Okay, so these are the questions that is given in the textbook and the answers also given. Okay, so next is the arteries and veins and blood capillaries. There are three types of the blood vessels and they are known as arteries, veins, and blood capillaries. In the textbook they have said that there are only two types of the blood vessels like arteries and veins. That is not correct. How many blood vessels are there? Three types of the blood vessels are there: arteries, veins, and also blood capillaries. Just now we have discussed the blood vessels like arteries. They carry blood from the heart to the body parts, and the walls of the arteries are thicker when compared to the veins. So why they are thicker? Because due to withstand the pressure which is coming from the heart, they are thicker. Next, the veins. These blood vessels carry blood from the body parts to the heart. Okay, so they do not have the much thicker walls and they have the thinner walls due to the less blood pressure in them. And blood capillaries, they are microscopic blood vessels made up of single layer of the cells, means they are made up of only single layer of the cells. So why they are made up of single layer of the cells? Why? Because to exchange nutrients, gases, and also waste from the tissue, they are one-celled thickness. Okay, so next, the structure and function of the heart, function of the blood vessels. Here the different types of the blood vessels are given. So it means the functions of the blood vessels are given over here, and you can see the features of the arteries, veins, and so on. Okay, and next is activity 4. This is the observation of the arteries and veins. So sit on a table with one leg overlapping other, so that, and in this segment just nothing but we have to do this thing. So let's consider this is the table and you have to sit over here, and one leg will be one above the other. Okay, one above the other. So what happens after some time, the leg which is kept above it is going to feel some kind of tingling sensation, or you can feel there is some kind of pins and needles in the leg. So why? Because you are one overlapping above the other. The blood vessels which is present over here will be compressed, and also the blood flow will be restricted. As a result, the tissue will not get enough amount of oxygen, not enough amount of gases, and so on. As a result, there will be a sensation of the pins and needles over here. Okay, and next is swing your arm around several times to fill the blood with veins. So swing means just to move your hand in the circular motion. As a result, the blood is going to get filled in the veins as a result. So there will be filling of the blood over here. So next, hold the arm vertically downwards and also gently press your finger along the prominent vein with prominent stroking in the reverse direction. So that is towards the hand. As a result, what you can see the veins which is present in the hand. Okay, let us consider this is the hand. So the veins which is present in the hands will be filled with the blood while you are swinging in the vertical direction towards the hand. As well, the blood will get filled over here, and when the blood vessels are blood vessels means the veins, especially the veins are filled with blood, you can see there is a filling of blood, and also they will become more prominent. Okay. And next, the cardiac cycle. So what is cardiac cycle? The sequential events of the contraction, relaxation of the atria and also ventricles in the heart is known as cardiac cycle. Okay, what is the sequential contraction, relaxation? Let us consider the first two atria. Okay, right atria and also left atria are going to contract. So when they not contraction, they are going to relax. So when they are relaxed, what will happen? They are going to fill the blood. Okay, fill the blood. Relaxation or for relaxation. When the right atrium and also left atrium is relaxing, what happens? The blood will be filled. From where the blood will be filled? In case of right atrium, here in the case of right atrium, blood will be filled from the superior vena cava and also inferior vena cava. They are also known as pre-caval veins. These are known as post-caval veins. Okay, so it is going to fill when it is relaxed. And also in the same way, the left atrium, here you can see the left atrium, it is going to fill the blood with which blood vessels? It is going to fill the blood vessel with pulmonary veins. Okay, the pulmonary veins will bring oxygenated blood from the lungs. Okay, from the lungs oxygenated blood will be brought, and it is going to pump the blood to the left atrium. Okay, they are relaxed, they are going to fill the blood. Now what happens? They are going to contract. Okay, right atrium and also left atrium is going to contract. So when they contract, what will happen? Pump. Okay, now they are going to pump blood to which chambers? They are going to pump blood to the right ventricle and also left ventricle. Okay, right ventricle, left ventricle, they are going to fill the blood. Okay, fill the blood. When they are filling the blood, when they are relaxed, when they are relaxed condition, when the right ventricle and left ventricle both are relaxed, they are going to fill the blood. Okay, so during this process, while they are pumping the blood, there is a wall. What is that wall? Tricuspid and also bicuspid walls. Tricuspid and bicuspid wall. So when the right atrium and also left atrium are contracting, the walls will get open and blood will move from these walls into the right atrium and also right ventricle. So from the right atrium to right ventricle, there is a tricuspid wall. So left atrium and left ventricle, there is a bicuspid wall. Okay, the blood will be filled. Okay, what happens next? After relaxing, they are going to contract. Okay, right ventricle and also left ventricle, they are going to contract. When they contract, what will happen? They are going to pump blood. So where they are going to pump blood? They are going to pump blood to the a blood vessel. In case of right ventricle, there is a pulmonary artery. Okay, pulmonary artery. In case of left ventricle, it is going to pump blood into the systemic aorta. Okay, systemic aorta. Okay, so fine. So they are going to pump into this, and they are going to pump blood to the lungs. Pulmonary artery is going to pump the blood to the lungs, and systemic aorta is going to pump blood to the body parts. Okay, so in this way they are going to pump the blood. So here also you can see the vein. They also walls. So what are those walls? Right ventricle to the pulmonary artery, there is a pulmonary wall. Okay, pulmonary wall is present. Between the right ventricle to the systemic aorta, there is systemic wall. Okay, there is systemic wall is present. Okay, so by this way the blood flow will be there. Such kind of contractions and also relaxations that is present in the chambers of the heart is known as cardiac cycle. So these cardiac cycles are in sequential manner. Okay, sequential means first contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation, and so on. Such kind of events are in a repeated manner, repeated condition. Okay, so look at this diagram. By looking at this diagram, you can see how the blood flow will be there and so on. You will come one clear idea. Okay, and this is about it. And here you can see there is generation of lub and dub sound. So when the lub sound will be produced, so here you can see on ventricular contraction, the blood increases, forcing the tricuspid and bicuspid valves to close forcibly. So here the tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve, they are going to close. So when the tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve are closing, there is generation of the lub, okay, lub sound. When the tricuspid and bicuspid valves will close, when the ventricles, when the right ventricle and also left ventricle is going to close, when they close, so right ventricle and also left ventricle, when they contract, what will happen? The valves will close, tricuspid and also bicuspid valves will close. So when the right ventricle and also left ventricle is going to contract, the valves are going to close. Those valves are tricuspid and bicuspid valve. When they close, there is generation of the sound, sharp sound. That sharp sound is known as lub. So here we can see tricuspid valve and here is the bicuspid valve. Okay, so next, when the dub sound will be seen, lub sound is over, when the dub sound will be seen. So here you can see the pulmonary valve and systemic valve and pulmonary valve. So when the pulmonary valve and systemic valve will be seen, the blood will be pumped from the right ventricle and also left ventricle to their respective blood vessels. So when these are going to contract, okay, what will happen? The valves will open. Which valves will open? Systemic valve and also pulmonary valve will open. Okay, fine. So when the right ventricle, left ventricle is going to relax, okay, what will happen? The valves close. Which valves? Systemic valve and pulmonary valves will open. Okay, when they open, what happens when they are relaxed? When they are relaxed, the blood will be stopped. The flow of blood into these blood vessels will be stopped. When the blood vessels is stopped, what will happen? They are going to close. Remember, the systemic valve and pulmonary valve are going to close. When they are going to close, there will be a generation of the sound. That sound is known as dub. This dub sound is dull sound. Okay. So the atrial contraction means atrial systole. Systole means contraction. It requires about 0.11 to 0.14 seconds. This is known as atrial contraction. And ventricular contraction means ventricular systole. It is going to take about 0.27 to 0.35 seconds. Okay, these are the times taken for the contraction of the atria and also ventricles. But then what about both auricular and ventricular relaxation? So relaxation means diastole. Auricles and ventricles relaxation or diastole will taking about 0.4 seconds. Together all it will take around 0.8 seconds for the complete cardiac cycle. Okay, and tissue will receive the blood. Discontinuous or not continuous. Okay, so that is due to the relaxation and also contraction of the left ventricle. Okay, when the left ventricle contract, blood will pump. Okay, so when the left ventricle relax, okay, when the blood vessel it means when the left ventricle relax, what will happen? There the blood will not pump, no pumping. Okay, so again when the left ventricle contract, pump. When the left ventricle relax, no pumping. Okay, can you see here there is a discontinuous, pumping, not pumping, pumping, not pumping, and so on. So here you can see there is a discontinuous supply of the blood to the tissue, or you can call it, you can say it is in the spurts. Spurts means little by little. Okay, this is known as discontinuous blood supply to the body. Okay, and here you can see the rate of pulse will be equal to the number of the heartbeats. Here you can see different animals will have the different body weight and a different weight of the heart and how many times they are beating. Here you can see. So there is no relation between the size and also heartbeat. Okay, so what should be there? If the size of the heart is more or if the weight of the heart is more, so the number of heartbeats should be more. But what you can see here, there is 750 kgs of the heart in case of blue whale, but only 7 times beat per minute. And what is coated bird? It has only 0.15 grams, not even a 1 gram, but it has about 1200 times. Okay, hence you don't have to think in this way. If the heart rate is more, the number of heartbeats will be more. It is not the condition. Okay, it depends upon the metabolic rate of the organism. If the metabolic rate in the organism is more, the heartbeat is also more. It is not depending upon the weight of the heart. Okay, so single circulation, there are two circulations, that is the flow of blood to the heart only once is known as single circulation. You can see the single circulation in the fishes. So this is the heart in the fishes. Let us consider this is the heart, and from the heart you can see there is a flow of blood to the gills. Okay, so from the gills the blood will be flown to the body parts. Again from the body parts you can see to the flow of blood to the heart. Okay, here we can see there is supply of the blood only in one circulation. Okay, that is known as single circulation. What about in case of human beings? Blood will be supplied to the blood will be supplied from the heart to the lungs. Okay, again from the lungs to the heart, and here you can see one circulation, the pulmonary circulation, the heart to lungs and lungs to heart. This is one circulation. And here you can see from the heart to body parts, from the body parts to the heart. Okay, here you can see the second circulation. So this is a perfect perfect clear diagram so that you can understand. So first is the pulmonary circulation, next is the systemic circulation. Okay, and I hope this lecture is helpful to you, and we are going to discuss the from the lymphatic system to the end of the chapter in the revision 2 lecture. Okay, in the revision 2 we are going to complete a whole chapter so that you will get clear idea about it. Okay.